Tokusatsu, taking the form of many shows including Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Metal Heroes. And today, a group of fans come together to review it for you as Toku Secrets.
What is going on, guys? This is the welcome to another episode of the Toku Secrets podcast presented by AnimeSecrets.org. I am your host, Nathan Desa, one of the co-hosts of the Toku Secrets podcast. And today we are going to be coming at you for the final time this year, although it probably will be 2022 when this video gets uploaded. We're coming at you for the final time to talk about our beloved Sentai Gokaiger. Last time we finished the series proper up, and today we are going to be taking a look at the 10-year anniversary movie that just recently premiered in Japan. And of course, as per usual on this little treasure hunt, I got a bunch of crew members that are joining me here. So if you guys will please say your names and tell the audience who you are. Go ahead, guys.
I am Rizwan, Blackbeard of the Seven Seas, and captain of this vessel that we call the Toku Galleon. And I'm joined by...
I am first mate Anthony Davis. And I'm here. This is gonna be enjoyed this final review of Gokaiger, our final voyage.
It's not our
As we
final
take off
voyage, technically.
to the final seas of this review.
For Gokaiger, at least it is, but...
Well, I mean, there's another movie or two we could do if we really wanted to keep this treasure hunt going.
Possibly.
That was my
Dang.
bad impression of trying to do like Guy's version of his little epic speeches or whatever.
Your face has to be in that ugly form. We'll talk about it later. But go ahead, Nate.
Normally this is where we would do the Ranot section, the randomly assorted news of Tokusatsu, but I haven't really seen anything really in unless you guys have anything, but
The
haven't
only...
really.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Riz. You're good.
The only thing I've seen, and it's not like super, it's not like a super big thing, but the Dino Fury cast has finished ADR on season 2 of Dino Fury.
Yeah, I saw that on Hunter
Hunter Dano's Instagram
page.
posted it.
Yeah.
He had like a little emotional post about what it meant to her and how much it meant to her to be able to do it. So if they're doing ADR, they're in post-productions now probably, meaning we're not too far away from having season 2 come out on Netflix. But also, it's interesting to me that they just finished ADR now. Typically, to my understanding, all of the stuff is complete sometime between the middle of season 1. So I'm wondering if COVID had a part to play in the delay in them getting their ADR stuff done and getting everything else kind of settled from Dino Fury.
Could have been.
Yeah, possibly.
It's just like a little thought I had on the news we're seeing, that we're in this weird time, and it's unlike them, in my opinion, from what I've seen in past casts, for them to be complete with season 1 and just now wrapping up ADR. That's kind of odd.
Well,
besides that, I haven't seen too much else. Have y'all seen anything, Nate, Anthony?
I recently know.
yeah, nothing really big in the news as of yet. We're kind of in that era where we're just kind of waiting to see new scans of the new Sentai and all that. And until that happens, we're kind of in this weird limbo time period. But, that's pretty much the only thing that people are talking about right now is what we're going to be talking about in this video, the Gokaiger 10 Years Later movie. So, Yeah, that kind of allows us to transition, I guess, into the main subject. So this movie is called the formal name of it is Kaizoku Sentai 10 Gokaiger, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, the Gokaigers did appear a couple of more times after the series ended. Just a couple of months after the show ended, they brought back the whole cast for the first superhero Tyson movie, which was the first movie in a series that was like some Kamen Rider crossover movies. Although the only two cast members that really had any major impact on the story were Marvelous and Joe. And that movie isn't really all that good. I mean, and I haven't watched the other ones, but I did see the first one. Of course, they came back for the Go Gokaiger versus Go Busters movie because that was kind of standard procedure. And by the way, I don't think you could count the superhero Tyson movie as canon, considering how the Gokaigers are seen using. Well, at least Marvelous is. He's shown using multiple Ranger keys, even though the Gokaigers take the Ranger keys back at the end of a show. I haven't seen Gokaiger versus Go Busters, so I but I do see that they do Gokai changes in that. I'm not
Yeah, they
sure how
do.
they did they give an explanation since there's the Ranger keys were given up.
I don't remember. I watched that movie around the same time I watched Gokaiger the first time.
Oh, okay.
But to kind of help fill in, they do it again with the Zeozer crossover.
Oh yeah, they did in episode 29, I believe.
29, I think 30, was it?
It's 29:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like
Yeah, so in that one they also did some Gokai changes, and the thing to note about the Gokai changes in these previous crossovers. So obviously the Go Buster one, there's only been like one season since Gokaiger. So they did like I don't think the Gokai changed then in anyone, but for Zeozer, the Gokai changed into Tokuzer, Kyureizer, Go Buster, and Ninja. Those are the ones that came between them, right? Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
decided to show off all those new Ranger keys, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, they just want to show off that for the toy factor, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
I apparently like I saw this on the Ranger Wiki page. Like we can consider their team up with Jew Odra canon because they do mention something that apparently happened in those episodes in this movie. We'll
Yep.
get to that in a little bit. But yeah, so the Gokaigers have been back multiple times, but this is probably the first time in like 5 years, given
Mhm.
the Jew-Odra team up. So anyway, we're gonna just go over the plot of this movie very briefly, and then we're gonna give some commentaries on it. So obviously, this movie takes place 10 years after the events of the series. It so in those 10 years, the Gokaigers have supposedly separated. Guy has apparently been away from the Gokaigers for 4 years, and he has joined with the Japanese Ministry of Defense, which has created this new underground fighting coliseum called the Super Sentai Derby Coliseum, where they use this reverse engineered version of what's basically Bosco's Raparata trumpet to bring Ranger keys to life. They pit the Ranger key clones against each other in a fight, and people basically bet to see who's ultimately going to win. And they pick Ranger keys at random, and they're all basically just battling in a battle royale where it's every man for himself, and people bet on the outcomes, and they're hoping to use this money to um, basically help defend Earth because it was apparently it's established that the Ranger keys were all of them except the Gokaigers, of course, have been willingly giving over to the government so that they can use the Ranger keys for this purpose, so that they can generate money to help protect the Earth, as well as give the Ranger keys back to the Rangers in the case of an emergency. The Japanese Ministry of Defense, we have multiple people. We have the Minister of Defense, and then he has 3 people working for him, which get to we'll get to those characters in a second. Of course, Guy is there, and another character whose name is apparently revealed in this. I don't think it was revealed in the actual series. His name is Masatoshi Niwano, who is also helping Guy, and he's actually the child that appeared in the second episode. He stole the Shinken Red Ranger key and became Shinken Red for 2 seconds. He's a major character in this movie, and unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure it's the same actor.
For what? The kid?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's not?
Mm-mm. I
Oh.
looked into it a little bit because remember I watched this movie while we did the Gokaiger reviews prior to now, whereas you guys kind of watched the movie after.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was able to compare the actors a little bit, and the kid we see at of the end of the season, that when he's fighting the Zanyak, that's not the same actor that we see in the movie. And when I looked it up online, I think it might have been Sentai 5 or one of those guys on Twitter, one of the Toku Twitter guys. He mentioned the only way to have made this movie better in his mind would have been to have the OG actor of that kid that Marvelous met in like episode 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of sucks then.
I mean, I get it. Things happen, and it doesn't detract from the story at all because it's barely noticeable
Yeah.
unless you have just seen the series like I did in the way I saw it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. Because I mean, 10 years later, are you gonna really remember what the side character that was there for like one episode looked like? You're
Yeah.
gonna remember more of what he did and who he was than like, oh, his face is not the same one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't matter in most cases. It's just kind of it stuck out to me because of how I watched it.
Mhm. Well, anyway, moving
Yeah.
on.
Yes,
Sorry,
Anthony?
Anthony, were you going to say something?
No, I was gonna say like, yeah, I see that because I mean like he wasn't that much important character to be like, oh, let's actually actually bring the character like the actor back for this role. It's just like one of those things where like if we can get him, great. If we can't, then oh well.
Mhm. Well, anyway, moving on. Most of the Gokaigers. Don first arrives on Earth, and he gives his Ranger key up to Guy, and then because the
No, he
number
didn't.
one. Oh, he didn't.
No. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
so Don actually had stole the key. He told him.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Sorry, I forgot about that detail.
No, it was a really
Um,
fun. It was a really funny part because they asked him for the
yeah, it
key, and
was.
he says, "I stole that a long time ago," and that's when he reveals to Guy that he hadn't seen the Gokaigers in quite some time. Because Guy asked him, "How can Marvelous and the others be okay with you stealing your key?" And he said, "Well, I haven't really seen them a lot lately,
Yeah.
so yeah."
Yeah.
So that's the excuse he gives them for why he can give him a key. Obviously, there's a different reason why he can't tell him, but he can't tell him until the end of the movie. So we're gonna wait until then to talk about that. But yeah,
The Ministry of Defense's number one goal is that they want to get the Gokaiger keys as well, so that they can have pretty much all Ranger keys in existence. And by the way, when we say Ranger keys, we're not just talking about everything up until Gokaiger. Like, it's pretty much all the way up to the. I don't think they show a Zenkaiger Ranger keys right now, since Zenkaiger is still airing, but it goes all the way up to the Sentai that came out before
Kimura Ranger?
Zenkager. Yeah, Kira Major.
That's what it's called.
You're major.
Yeah. So then Marvelous arrives on Earth. He's wearing an eye patch, which is an awesome touch, by the way. He arrives on his own ship because we're shown in a flashback at the beginning of the movie that the Gokai Galleon has been destroyed. Marvelous. What were you saying?
No. That just hurt my soul. Was all.
It does.
Yeah, it's about as heartbreaking as when the Galaxy Rangers had to destroy the Astro megaship in Lost Galaxy.
That hurt my soul.
Yeah. So he arrives on Earth to investigate the Derby, because he has some suspicions on it. And the Ministry makes this he gets taken to the Derby because Luca, pretending to be someone who's caught him, takes him there and then takes money in exchange for him. Never change, Luca.
Never changed.
That actually reminds me of a brief joke in the Mega Ranger tribute episode where it's shown that Marvelous's reward, like an unlimited reward, where you could take him to Vizanyak and get whatever you want, and then Luca is all like, "I could get whatever I want."
I remember that.
And I'm just kidding. That instantly popped up into my head. But anyway, so they have Marvelous fight against multiple Ranger Key clones, claiming that if he beats all of them, then he gets to go. But if he loses, then he has to give up his Ranger Key, and he defeats pretty much all of them. But then he ends up having to battle against Guy, and they have this pretty epic battle. And at first, for the most part, it looks like Marvelous has given up on Earth. Like he wonders if Earth is still worth defending. But as we find out later, it turns out that the Ministry of Defense has been taken over by a group of alien pirates known as the Bakut Pirates. And in the flashback, we're shown that it was them that defeated the Gokaigers and destroyed the Gokai Galleon. The Baku Pirates are hoping to gather all the Ranger keys together so that they can turn all the Super Sentai Rangers into an army so that they can conquer the galaxy. And ultimately, the Gokaigers have to come together and stop the threat. And that's about it. The other Gokaigers, of course, arrive. Joe and Iam arrive, and they all come together to battle. And then Navi also shows up, where it's revealed that she's apparently acting as doing odd jobs, like an announcer. Because apparently, I haven't seen the Zyuohger team up, but apparently the Gokaigers abandoned her on Earth when they returned for the Zyuohger team up. So yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
A couple of brief things to note before we start kind of talking about the general discussion. We have quite a few returning actors. In fact, pretty much every major character in this movie is portrayed by like a pretty big actor in Tokusatsu. So first, we have a returning Sentai Ranger actually in this. There's a moment where before Iam comes to Earth, she has to obtain a shield that she uses to kind of help expose the Ministry of Defense, called the Shield of Veritas or Veritas. I don't know. Maybe I'm mispronouncing that. And and she has to go to the planet Crystalia.
Yes.
And did I pronounce that right?
You said it right.
Okay. And the person that she meets there is Takamichi Crystalia, and I didn't know this because I haven't seen this Sentai yet, but apparently that is Kirame Silver from Kira Major. So
Oh, really?
Sixth Ranger.
That's cool.
Just out of curiosity, Anthony, I actually did watch some clips of his first battle because
Mhm.
I really like I really like the Kira Major suits and
They look really good. I like them.
everything. Yeah, is he kind of a comic relief Sixth Ranger? Like, what kind of Sixth Ranger is he?
It's kind of a tough one because he isn't really like the comic relief. He has comic relief moments, but he's not fully a comic relief character. He has so many layers, um, to the point where like he, I can't really. I don't want to spoil anything for y'all because I don't want to like, you know, tell you more than what I should tell you. Is just kind of like be aware of like because he is actually very important to the series and like you have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
And we do see all of the so pretty much all of the remaining Ranger Key teams that we didn't see that the Gokaiger showed off in Ju-Oger we see here. When Marvelous and IM are battling some of the Ranger Key clones, they transform into Juo Eagle, Ryu Soul Red, Shishi Red from Q Ranger, Kirame Red. And then, of course, the two Red Rangers from Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger. So Pat Ren Ichigo and Lupin Red.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that stuck out to me is that there's a point where when Luca and Dawn are getting their Ranger keys, they transform into different colors. So Luca transforms into Gokai Green and Dawn transforms into Gokai Yellow. That was kind of funny, actually.
That was classic Dawn
Um,
right there, dude.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it reminds us. It's pretty reminiscent of that episode where they switched bodies.
Yeah, that was the callback that they did for that particular Gokai change right there. Because people
Okay.
were wondering like, well, if they had actually like, when they were still in each other's bodies, like what would have happened if they both would switch their keys and they would have transformed into each other's
Yeah.
Gokai keys where they did the Gokai change like that, and that's how they would look.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of other returning actors. Hill appears. Now, unfortunately, he's not Bosco, but it's still cool that they brought him back because it feels like a true Gokaiger reunion. He appears as one of the Coliseum announcers. The other Coliseum announcer is played by Hiroya Matsumoto. He is he previously portrayed two Sentai Rangers. He was Tsubasa Ozu, or Maji Yellow in Maji Ranger, and
Yellow Thunder. Sorry, I had to say
right,
it.
and Masato Jin, or Beatbuster in Go Busters. And they actually make a bit of an inside joke about that because there's a point where when they're commentating on a fight, I can't remember which Ranger did it, but both the Maji Yellow and the Beatbuster Ranger keys get defeated at the same time, and Matsumoto's commentator is like, "Eh," and he starts crying. Like that's classic.
Like, oh
Um,
wow, he took a beating, didn't he? He's like, they took a beating, didn't they? He's like, yeah, that's great.
yeah, that was funny. Um,
I felt for the guy too. I was like, man, like,
Pretty much all of the Ministry of Defense people, with the exception of the Masatoshi character, are portrayed by actors we've seen before. The Minister of Defense, he doesn't have a name. maybe you guys haven't recognized. Maybe you guys haven't seen him, but I recognized him. He was in 2 Kamen Rider seasons. He was in Agito and Fies. Um,
I've seen Akito. I know exactly who you're talking about. He was in Akito.
he was like
I've
this
seen it.
corrupt. He was like this corrupt cop in
Mm-hmm.
Agito, Toru Hojo, and he was one of the Orphanox, one of the villains for a couple of episodes in Fies.
Was him? I'm talking
Yeah,
about like the Agito. Wow, he really got old. Because I remember when I first saw Agito, I remember him. I did not like him at all. Like he was like my
nobody does.
least favorite character in that show. But looking at him now, I'm like, yeah, that's definitely him. I could see the eyes now. But he got really old now. Not old, but like because it's been like what? It's almost 20 years since Agito appeared on
Yeah,
television. So I can
he
see
always
why.
plays. He
Wow.
always plays villains and everything that he's in. Like
Yes.
I don't, I don't know, but at least this time he didn't have a monster form. But speaking of villains with monster forms, so there's 3 Baku pirates. They all have human forms and monster forms, and each of their human forms are portrayed by pretty big people. There's the male one that has glasses. His name is Bodley.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's not an actor, but he's actually the lead vocalist for the Gokaiger theme song. Uh,
Okay.
the female one, Ren, is portrayed by Rikako Sakata, who she's been on a couple of. She's had a couple of roles, but her biggest role was that she played Miu Kazashiro, who was like a main character on Kamen Rider Forze. She wasn't a
Yep.
writer, but she was like Kamen Rider Forze is like a show about a bunch of high school students, and she's like the most popular cheerleader girl who's also a main character.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, she was like an important like important side character to the main writer.
Yep. And then we have Metal Yoshida, who appears as another one, Agrados, and he was previously he was actually a Kamen Rider. He was
Hmm?
Oren Alfonso, um, and he was one of the additional writers on Kamen Rider Gaim, specifically Kamen Rider Bravo. And I recognized
Yep.
him the instant because he's just one of those actors where you just
Same, bro.
recognize him
I would literally
instantly.
say it's Mr. Dangerous.
Yeah. That's about it with the returning actors. We other than that, we yeah, it's mostly just we got, of course, we got all the Gokaigers back, um, and that's about it. I guess just to kind of break the ice um, about the general discussion about this movie. Probably the big thing here is that there were new power up modes that we spoke about in previous videos. Apparently, the name is called Cross Armor Mode, and it's apparently been established in the show that apparently, even when the Gokai Galleon was destroyed, um, it transformed into this new object that's kind of like a Ranger key, that the Gokaigers are able to use, and it gives all of them except Guy a power up mode. So Marvelous gets this armor that looks like the Gokai Galleon. Joe gets this bladed claw thing. Uh, Dawn gets like this giant cannon, and both Luca and I am get these 2 feet mounted things. Um, and yeah, that's pretty cool. I kind of wish that was a thing in Gokaiger, to be honest.
I
Same.
mean, yeah, I kind of, to be honest though, I preferred the Gokai Galleon having that than having the power ups though.
True.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It
That's
does.
just my thoughts because the Gokai Galleon is just more iconic. And if I had to pick a form for the Gokai Galleon to like take, I would prefer to have had the boat come back. than. I mean, don't get me wrong. The pirates are really cool. I like them, but come on, guys, the Gokai Galleon.
Mm-hmm. Um, I kind of want to break the ice with just kind of talking about I'd like to break down some of the things with how the characters have changed. You know, on so this movie is only an hour long, so we don't really get to. So some characters are going to get more focus than others. In fact, I would probably say that ultimately the characters that get the most focus are probably Guy and Marvelous. Uh, and
Yeah.
yeah, and as for Marvelous, I would say that well, first of all, seeing him in an eye patch throughout the entire movie is pretty cool. Although they make a joke out
Yeah.
of it, like they're apparently saying that he lost his eye in battle, but then at the very end of the movie, it said, "Oh no, I still have my eye. They they just cut me, and now there's this cyst on my eye, and I don't want anyone to see it."
Okay,
So
look. He said there's a sty in my eye, and I understand Marvelous. Okay, I get it. From a guy
yeah,
who gets styes in the eye pretty often, I get it. And eye patches are really good for that.
well, I
um,
mean, a pirate, an eye patch is a big thing for a pirate, so it's
yeah,
cool to see him wearing one.
I think it's a good. I think it's like a thing he wears in the 5-year reunion as well.
Um, but yeah, most of what Marvelous does is just pretty. We just I wouldn't say that he's changed much since the events of the show, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, he still has this, he clearly has a much greater love for the earth because there's moments where um apparently people are contemplating over whether or not earth is worth protecting. Um and there's even a moment in like in a rather ironic twist where the kid Masatoshi is wondering if Earth is even worth protecting, considering they were abusing the Super Sentai powers and all that. And Marvelous, and now instead of him telling Marvelous what makes Earth so great, it's now the kid being told by Marvelous that Earth is such a great place to do, and that's a pretty touching moment, especially since we're shown a flashback of what happened in the actual show. You know?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things in this movie that are like just tearjerkers for me. That's one of them. Seeing it come full circle to where
Oh yeah.
Marvel understands the value
Mhm.
of the Earth, and it's like I said in the last part of our Gokaiger series review proper. Marvelous at the end of that series finally learned and accepted he is part of Super Sentai, and he has a duty to the Super Sentai name and brand to protect the world. And it's nice to see, over the years he comes back, Go Busters, Zeodzer, and now here to continue to keep that oath that he made to himself to keep protecting.
Mhm.
Like, he didn't have to come back to Earth 10 years later. There's no treasure here this time. But he came back because the Sentai powers are being used incorrectly, and he couldn't stand for that.
Definitely shows how far he's come.
Yeah. So I think good on him for embracing it because that makes him a much stronger character than he already was. And I mean, look, he's already a really strong character. Um, so yeah.
The only other character that gets much of growth is Guy.
I
But not
mean,
really growth, but he gets focus here.
okay, about
Um,
to say he doesn't get any growth. He's the same old guy,
yeah,
pun
yeah, I
intended.
didn't mean to say growth. The only thing I'm curious about is they say that he apparently left the Gokaigers. like 4 years ago in the
Yeah.
movie, which I guess it means like it was a year after they did the whole thing with Oger, and then he left. Kind of wondering what caused him to do that.
I don't think it's ever mentioned why in Zeodes
No.
or I think it's just a plot point. Um, I think we could have done with less guy focused stuff because honestly, as much as we all like Guy, he didn't really add anything except be a nuisance in the way.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
like he wasn't, he didn't get any character growth. We didn't see anything new or cool about him. He was the same old obsessed with the Sentai guy that just wanted to, do right by the world, but he blundered it again. Um, so while I like him a lot as a character, he didn't really grow a lot in this one. I mean, the other characters you could see some growth. I mean, I saw some growth in Zoe and Ahim and Luca and even Dawn. Because so, these four other aliens who don't belong to Earth, they showed a lot of love and compassion for the world around them and they came back. Like when Dawn comes in the first episode, he's grateful to smell the Earth air again because he feels that's refreshing, invigorating. It's fantastic. And he's happy to be back. Luca, see, if you ask me, Luca's the one that's kind of like iffy sometimes because she is kind of driven by her desire for money and wealth, but she came back because she cares about the world in a way that she can't explain. Like these characters all came back for a reason.
Yep.
And they may not have said anything about that. Like they may not have done a lot beyond where Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger, but that in itself is a big deal for these guys. If this is any other Sentai team, if this was Kia Reeds or Go Buster, Tokyuts or Ninins or any of them, this wouldn't mean anything because that's their job. That's what they came into this power to do. But these four didn't. So a lot of growth here, a lot of like it's not like we get any more backstory on them. I know a lot of people when they say character growth, they want to see backstory, they want to see like some new aspect of them, but it's also good to see that what lessons they learn in the finale have kind of guided them in a way even after 10 years later.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I mean by growth here for those of you at home that are kind of like, well, what is Riz on about? Because they're the same characters they were 10 years ago, but that's the point. They didn't revert to the pirate way.
I think I I think the only real complaint that I have is that, well, first of all, I wish that we saw more of Joe because he's my favorite.
Joe
Um,
had no screen time at all, and that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
you can count the number of lines that Joe has on one hand. Although,
Do you even need a full hand?
yeah.
I mean,
Although, to be fair, when the Gokaigers returned for Superhero Tyson, he was literally probably the only Gokaiger that did anything other than marvelous. So I guess
yeah.
it evens out.
I mean, maybe, but yeah. I just think that it'd been nice to see more Zoe, but I'm also a Zoe fan. Um,
Same.
I mean, honestly, I know we had a lot of Ahim, but we really didn't have a lot of Ahim in that she was there. She helped Marvelous escape from a guy and the other Sentai clone things, and she helped him fight, but she was mainly there to fight. She didn't really do much else beyond that, I think.
No.
Luca, I mean, she came in, she trolled the ministers. She did the thing where she said, "Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!"
That was cute. I like that.
That was amazing. It
Yeah.
made me laugh so much.
I mean, of course, she had to say her catchphrase "Urusai baka" at the
Oh,
end.
that okay, that right there was that okay, so I was already cheering when I saw Marvel's gun fire and you heard that song. You know that song I'm talking about. It's the
Yeah.
song. Like
Kaizoku wo
yeah,
Agero.
yeah. So whenever it's a thing, every episode of Gokaiger, things are happening, and then finally the last straw's been hit. And it's always noted by a Gokaiger firing their gun and hitting something. It could be a wild barrage of firing from all six or all five, or it could be one firing, like in the case of Marvelous here, and immediately that song plays. And in the core of your body that shit's about to get real. They're about to do some damage here. They're about to destroy whatever's in front of them. No questions asked. You know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see that, that's nostalgia, man. 10 years later, to have them come back, to have them all look as good as they do, to do the gunfire, to walk and to stop and say "Urasai, baka," and all that stuff. That was pure greatness. That was a fangasm and a half right there.
Facts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other really cool part of this movie, I think, was with Don and his part of the plan, like for what they're doing. I was really intrigued by Don scratching his hair, looking for that little recorder,
Oh, of course.
and just like digging in. Like, I know it's in here somewhere. I'm like, dude, how thick is your hair?
Oh, Don.
Yeah. But I think overall, this movie hits all the right spots for a anniversary movie that's set 10 years later. I mean, first of all, you got all six main characters back. That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Definitely.
I mean, so many things could happen. They could say, "Well, I don't want to do Sentai anymore," or "Well, I'm not interested." But these guys came back, and I mean, okay, so Marvelous and Luca came back like 2 years ago for the Strongest Battle Ever movie, which is like a battle royale of all the Sentais.
And
And
Luca's actress also voiced the robot thing that became the Pink Ranger and Q Ranger, I think. Didn't
I
she?
don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, Washi Pink.
Yeah.
Okay, I never seen that one, but um, yeah, I was really happy to see them again. Um, I'm not certain how the canon fits with that movie with everything else, but if you look at the strongest battle in the world Super Sentai Battle Royale movie thing, it actually fits in rather well with everything else going on. I don't know if y'all have seen it yet or not, but
I would have
um,
to see it, yeah.
yeah, it fits in pretty well. Like nothing significant happens, but you can still see like Luca and Marvelous kind of interacting, and they're kind of building up that entire thing of being pirates, and the entire attitude's still there, and it's pretty great. Um, yeah, so it's nice to see these characters keep coming back and forth. I'm thinking, and I'm hoping that they return for the 50th anniversary of Sentai in some way. I mean, they have to. They have to like do something with those keys again.
I think that's probably that's probably just going to be a thing now because, like I said, I mean they like we said earlier they came back for a team up with Ju Oger, which was the 40th
Mhm.
anniversary. Now they're not doing a crossover with Zenkaiger, at least not to my knowledge, but
They
they still
better.
did it. They still did a 10 years later movie. So I just think at this point we can just kind of safely say that the Gokaigers are kind of becoming just like a mandatory gimmick with the anniversary theme. Like maybe
Yeah.
you don't have to have them come back as regular characters, but in some shape, form, or fashion, you have to kind of have the Gokaigers come back briefly during an anniversary season.
I mean, okay,
Some
so
way, shape, or
they
form. Because I
they
mean,
kind of. I know this isn't a Zenkaiser podcast right now, but they kind of do appear in Zenkaiser in like reference.
yeah, I was about to say
So
that.
so whenever two
The gold
Kaiser,
one
what?
with the gold one, right?
Yeah, so the gold one
Yes,
is two Kaiser, two Kaiser. I don't know how to say it.
you guys are. Yeah,
Two Kaiser. So when two Kaiser comes out, the other Zen Kaisers ask him how he got his powers, and he said, "Oh, well, so we also go between different dimensions, like how our enemies do. And one of them was the Gokai's world, and we saw their powers and we liked it, so we copied it."
yeah. They pirated the pirates,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah. So I thought that was a pretty cool way to kind of just at least mention Gokaiser in that two Kaiser has the look and feel of the outfits. Obviously, they don't have the Gokaiser gimmick. They don't have the characters return that I know about yet. I'm on episode 15 or 16 at this point. I'm kind of slowed down a bit because I got bogged down with other stuff. But yeah, so far, no other mention of Gokaiser that I've seen, and I don't think there is anything else like talking about them. But at least they had that one little thing, that little tidbit that said, "Yeah, we pirated these parts from the real Gokaisers." So that gives me some hope that we'll see them in all the anniversaries coming, going forward in some way.
I mean, they might not always be able to bring back the actors, but at the very
Yeah.
least, I think that they'll probably bring like back the Gokaigers to just appear in suit form only. Um, but you never know. I mean, they might just be able to bring them back every 5 years.
Well, I think this set of actors actually enjoy what they did a lot
Yeah,
because it takes a lot of commitment to say, "Yeah, we'll come back again. Yeah, we'll all six come back again. Yeah, we'll come back again. No big deal." Like you don't see Senkens are doing it. You don't see the other Sentais before it doing it. I mean, they could barely get one Sentai member per team for their 35th anniversary. So to be able to get all six of the cast consistently for like all of this is pretty big.
yeah, absolutely. Just to kind of give my thoughts. So I haven't seen any of the other 10-year anniversary movies.
I've
They
seen one so
they did
far.
one for Hurricaneger, Dekaranger, and Goanger.
Oh wait, no,
Although
I've seen two of them. Never mind. It was
I'm
Go
pretty,
Onger and I think.
Nate, how have you
Yeah,
not
they
seen
were
Go On,
good.
sir? That's like your thing.
I don't know. I gotta get to that eventually.
Yeah.
Um, to my knowledge, though, I'm pretty sure this is the longest one because this one is like just a little over an hour. The other ones have been less than an hour.
No, this is
Um,
exactly 1 hour
okay,
to the second.
okay.
If you count the
Well,
final song, it's exactly 1 hour.
um, but as far as if this is just what 10-year anniversary movies, I guess just by looking at the length of all this, this is just what 10-year anniversaries are going to be. I mean, I would like for I would like for them to be a bit longer. Like, I don't know, like we've seen Sentai movies get as long as like an hour and a half, like with the crossover movies. So I would like to see them just be a little bit longer and probably have a little bit more of a, you know, of a bigger plot instead of one that just feels like an extended episode. But if this is just what, 10-year anniversary movies are, then I can accept that, and I enjoy that, and I think that this movie works out pretty great. It's great to see this cast back. Um, the villains are for what they are. I really enjoy the villains, and the whole Sentai Super Sentai Battle Royale thing was a pretty creative idea. Um, I can't, like I said, my only real complaint is that not all the Gokaigers get their moment to shine. Like Joe doesn't do that much, unfortunately. Um, but I do like the villains. I do like how they don't try to, come up with like yet another um like Zangyak type of person for them to battle. Like, oh, like apparently in the Go Busters versus Gokaiger movie, their villain is like some relative of Actos Gill, like his nephew or something like that. So like, oh well, this is another relative of Actos Gill. No, they come up with like a brand new pirate gang, and I like that.
Yeah.
Um, I I really enjoyed it for what it is. Maybe I was a little disappointed at first, just given the length and how it comes off more like it's just an extended like 2-part episode. But now that I see, the length, the lengths of the other anniversary movies, and I'm just kind of realizing, okay, this is just what 10-year anniversary movies are, I guess, where they're just gonna bring him back for like an hour or something. Yeah, I'm fine with that, and I like. I think the thing that really made me enjoy this, they've updated the Super Sentai Hero Getter theme song to go all the way to Kira Major, which they play during the closing credits. And they actually show a lot of behind the scenes stuff during the closing credits, which was fun. Um, yeah, I would say that I enjoyed it. I really do wish that we could have longer movies, but if, like I said, if that's just what these movies are, then for what it is, it's a very enjoyable, brief 10-year anniversary. And yeah, I really love it. What about you, Anthony?
Oh yeah, this was definitely a really like fantastic movie. Like I said, it was just great to see Metal again because I like I said I've watched Gaim all the way through and I love Kamen Rider Bravo.
Yep.
He's like just very flamboyant, very like he's flamboyant but tough at the same time, which is cool, you know. And just seeing him again, he was just like, oh my god, I know him. I've seen him before. You know, I didn't recognize Mio at first. That's the crazy part because I guess because you wore glasses, that's just kind of just surprising. Like, oh, that's her. Okay. And it was great seeing Luca again. You know, obviously. Um, it was good to see Marvelous again. You know, being Marvelous. I really do like the eye patch. I know he probably just is like probably wearing it temporarily, but like I think he should keep it. I don't think he should take it off. I think he should just keep it on. You know, for the remainder of whenever. Like I said, Joe, like you guys said, Joe didn't really have much to do. He still looked cool, but it's just that the movie didn't really give him much, except the Sentai battles and stuff with him transforming and whatnot. Uh, Doc was interesting. He didn't really he had a little bit more focus than everybody else did, especially like him more screen time because he was the first Gokaiger we see on screen. I think unless I'm getting him mixed up, and as Marvelous appeared earlier. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Um, and surprisingly, this had the least amount of previous Sentai Rangers, not counting the actor who plays Beat Buster and Yellow
Matiello.
Maji Yellow. I don't know why I'm blanking on how to say his name. But yeah, I it was very interesting to see the young boy who Marvelous was helping out in episode 2, you know, as an adult because like, oh wow, like that, you know, that be, you know, they're going back that far into the you know, characters from back in the day. So it was nice they did that. Overall, I just enjoyed it. It was just a very fun, 10-year anniversary, and I hope, this isn't the last we see of them.
Yeah, so for me, in closing thoughts, this movie was everything I'd hoped for in a Gokaiger 10 years later movie. It hit all the high notes of bringing back all the characters. We had an interesting story. The story as a whole was interesting. I think the best part was seeing all the characters come back and getting everyone together one more time, and just kind of having that Gokai magic that we've kind of grown to love and desire more of happen again, because Gokaiser is just one of the best thing ever. So
Hmm.
I'm glad to see them back. I'm looking forward to 20 years later, and I'm looking forward to the 50th anniversary. And any other time you'll bring Marvelous back, just do it. We'll be
Yep.
there. We'll watch it. It'll be great.
And speaking of Marvelous, here's an inside joke that I was just reading up on briefly. There's a point where he slips on a banana peel um, while he's transformed as the Red Ranger from Q Ranger. Apparently,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was supposed to be
Yeah.
an an inside joke because, and Anthony would know this. In Kamen Rider Gaim, there's a character who's based off of a banana because Kamen Rider Gaim's theme are fruits. Um, the Kamen Rider is Kaito, Kaito Kumon. What's funny is that, and I think I told you this, Anthony, and if
Yeah.
not, then you're about to find out.
No, you told me.
The
I
guy
remember
who
very well.
played Kaito was originally auditioned for Marvelous, so that's a pretty cool inside joke. And the other thing that I'm seeing here is in that scene that you mentioned where Luca goes into the office and she's like, "Oh no, look at what all these people are saying." She calls herself there. Her name is Masaki Shirogane. Apparently, that's the name of a character in an anime called Action Hero and Cheer Fruits. I've never seen it.
I never seen it either. Doesn't sound
Uh,
familiar.
apparently, Luca's actor voices that character in
Oh, okay.
in the anime. So that was another cool inside joke, I guess.
Interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. But to kind of close this out with our final thoughts, I just kind of want us all to just give a brief rundown and give it an overall grade. And I'll start off. So, from what I've read, this seems to be generally among most critics and Super Sentai fans, at least for right now, what I'm seeing on most discussion boards. This is probably the best 10-year anniversary movie. At least that's what most people are saying. And if that's the case, and even though I've only seen one, I would probably have to agree that this movie is good. It's got a lot of great inside jokes, really cool. The Super Sentai Battle Royale was awesome. It's great to see these characters again. And it was cool seeing Marvelous and I Am kind of show off some of the other Ranger keys. But of course, I really appreciate them coming up with a realistic, like a reason that makes sense for them to use them in the show instead of just saying, "Oh, we still have Ranger keys," even though we gave them up, like they did in all those other things. So yeah, I really can't. Aside from maybe just giving Joe a little bit more screen time, I really can't think of any other things that I would fix about this movie. Um, it's awesome, and I'll probably watch it again a couple of times. And Toei, if you're watching this, be prepared to bring them back for a 15 years later movie, or at least have them appear in the 50th anniversary. And if you don't
Or
do that,
or appear in Kaiser as a surprise that nobody knows about.
and Toei, if you don't do that, all three of us will find you, and we will do something that you're not going to want to know what we're going to do, and I am not joking. So do it.
The problem
Um,
is we don't know what we're
More!
gonna do yet.
do what?
More!
Yeah, what Anthony said. More now, please go. On delay, on delay.
Like how what was it, Ricky Morty? Rick was like 10 more seasons, Morty. 10 more seasons.
Look, just give me Gokaiser 2, okay? Just make it happen. The 50th anniversary season will be Gokaiser Part 2.
I watch it.
Yep.
I think we'd all watch it. And it could be something really, different too. It could just be like the Gokaiser kids learning from the parents, or I don't care. Just make it Gokaiser.
Right. That'd be sick. I
It'd be
like
cool,
right?
it. Like, could
Yeah.
you imagine the son of Marvelous not being a badass and having to learn to be like his dad?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not necessarily their kids, but just
The next generation.
like some new pirates that want to live up to the reputation of the Gokaigers.
Oh, another set of pirators pirating the Gokaigers? That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I
Like
finished Kaiser, dude. I need to finish Kaiser so bad.
yeah. But yeah, I'll give this movie a solid A. A minus. I'll take off some points for No Joe because he's awesome, but other than that, you're good. I give it an A minus. What about you guys?
I give it an A. Not A plus, but just A.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll be that guy. This movie gets an A plus with a double plus. Damn it.
Okay.
Ooh.
Don't ask what that is numerically because I can't tell you. All you have to know is A with 2 pluses on it.
A double A plus.
Yes.
You guys have
But
anything else you want to say?
but I'm just a huge Gokaiser fanboy, so take it or leave it because I'm here to stay.
I just can't believe this is our it's for now. It's over for now. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
It's over
Yeah.
for now. I'm
I
not gonna
will
say it's over
say
completely.
I will say I'm happy that our podcast team committed to the entirety of Gokaiser and this movie, and we're doing it consistently. Like, I'm pretty proud of us. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us too.
Yeah. But I'd like to thank all of you all for listening and keep on rocking because 2022 will bring us some great stuff.
Yep. Well, okay, to kind of piggyback off of what Rizwan was saying, first of all, we would like to thank you guys all for joining us for the Gokaiger reviews. We thank you for we thank you for bearing with us, and for all the new people who came in, we appreciate all the support that we get from you guys. Like I said in the previous video, next time we're going to be kind of backtracking a couple of years, 2 years to be exact. In Sentai, we're going to be taking a look at probably the first Sentai that a lot of us back home began watching, and of course, we'll go into more details about that when we actually start the series. And Samurai Sentai Shinkenger. We hope you guys will join us for that. We're definitely looking forward to revisiting that Sentai. Although in Riz's case, he's going to be visiting it for the first time.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
We'll be taking a look at episodes 1 through 10 in that video. And we hope you guys will join us for that. Please, if you have any Sentai that you would like for us to cover, we'll definitely try to get to that once we get all the ones that we want to cover out of the way. But if you have any ones that you would like for us to cover, please feel free to leave comments down below to let us know what you would like to see. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. And Please check us out at animesecrets.org. Also check us out on all of our social media like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all that. Once again, we thank you guys for joining us on this great treasure hunt. We hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as we have. But for now, we're going to be officially saying goodbye to Gokaiger as we move on to a new Sentai. So be sure to catch us then. So until next time, next year in 2022, when we begin to take a look at Shinkenger, we're going to be saying farewell for now. So we'll see you guys next year, and take care. Later, guys.